Alright, what up guys? I'm Andrade Tattoo and I want to talk to you about my custom designs. Here's one of my favorites at the moment. What was going through my head when I designed this piece was vampires and witchcraft. So I grabbed the girl and kind of like mixed the vampire vibes and the witch vibes. You know, I incorporated the earth elemental symbol because that's what empowered her powers, you know. Well, I like to think that this witch just got bitten and transformed into a vampire. So she has her fingers pushing her upper lip, showing off her fangs, you know, feeling good. Got the cat eyes, you know, just, you know, witches and cats kind of like go hand in hand. Also incorporate some barbed wire tattoos. I thought that was pretty cool. And a Leviathan symbol on the top of her hand, just because, you know, she's from the dark side. Some horns up here with some blood splatter, or ink splatter. Has some brush stroke flow going through here just to kind of like give that cool little artsy vibe. And I really enjoyed making this design, you know, and I feel like I'm gonna have a better time tattooing it. Here's one of my medieval times, dark ages era design. You know, I have a cool girl over here holding a master sword. You know, there's nothing more badass with the fucking cool chick with the fucking master sword, you know, it just yells out badass. You know, she's looking fierce, she's looking confident. She's an elf, she got the pointy ears, white hair. Up top, I got this cool castle with the moon in the back. In the bottom, I have like this crazy, almost like an obstacle course, what she has to go through to reach the castle. And in my mind, when I was designing this, I kind of wanted like, you know, the main character kind of storming to the castle up here. This is the path she has to take to get to the castle, defeat the bad guy. So that's kind of like the vibe I wanted to like put out and energy to give the viewer. Big fan of, you know, Renaissance, Dark Ages times, medieval stuff, you know. So this is kind of what inspired me to do this design. Maybe later in time incorporate some bat silhouettes in here, you know. This kind of has just like this old creepy path to the castle, you know, almost like a scene from Lord of the Rings, you know. There's just tall rock mountains on the side, old architecture built from bricks and stones, you know. Super cool stuff. I really enjoyed making this design. What inspired me to create this design was World of Warcraft. I played a lot of World of Warcraft when I was growing up and pretty recent too. One of my main characters in World of Warcraft was the Feral Druid. A Feral Druid is pretty much that wields nature, you know. They could, you know, rejuvenate people's life, restore wounds, and in this case, she could transform into a feral tiger, you know, which is badass, you know. I have them here looking all fierce, crazy white eyes just to make it even creepier. I have the Feral Druid symbol here, which is a big old paw with some nice sharp claws. You know, added some kind of orbs, you know, there's what I like to call them, you know, just to give some direction through the design. I usually played in the Horde, but I made this one a Night Elves because that's one of the characters that I did like on the Alliance side were Night Elves, you know. So she got the pointy ears, you know, she looks very, very honest, humble, very delicate, you know, she has cool makeup on. I incorporated the elemental nature symbol in there because druids harness their power from nature, so I thought that was really cool. You know, the tiger is one of her forms. Feral druids could take many forms, and my favorite was the tiger, the feral tiger, just because it was just awesome. You know, he could go into stealth, he could ambush people, all his abilities did damage over time. Super fun stuff. I also wanted the tiger to be a little bit more beat up, you know. He has some scars, you know, his teeth are still sharp, symbolizing that, you know, he's still a badass, he's still got some battles ahead of him. Here's another one of my favorites. This is pretty straightforward, you know. It's what was going through my mind in this one was witches. The crescent moon on top of her head, kind of just floating on there. You know, the crescent moon symbolizes a lot of things. In this case, it's symbolizing a new beginning because she's just a new witch starting off. I also incorporated a cat in the bottom. You know, witches and cats go hand in hand. Went a little artsy with this one. I had a lot of ink splatters around the design. You know, I think that gives it a cool vibe. I love incorporating crescent moons into my designs. They symbolize so many things, you know, and I feel I feel like witches and moons, cats, just, you know, they click, they go well together, you know. Added some flow to kind of guide the viewer's eye, you know, going from the top of her head through her face into the cat, you know, which is really cool. I love drawing negative flow. It's really nice, you know. I kept her eyes very pitch black and beady, you know, try to give her a little creepy look, just a little glare in the light in her eye. Thank you everyone that stopped by to check out my designs. I really appreciate it. If you have a story or vision that you would like me to design, reach out and I'll make it happen.